sidewalk with your pail of water to take upstairs, and off the sidewalk there, going towards the field, were trees, but they weren't the kind of trees that grow straight up in the air. These things dipped down, and if you standed on them and they bounced, and you could put clothesline on it and pretend it was a horse, and we'd bounce on these trees, going with our water up, sitting on the sidewalk. And the reason why I'm mentioning that is because we would get to the front where there were two doors, one going for upstairs and one for downstairs, which I found was the laundry. By poking around, I found there was a shower in there too. Yes, it had a shower curtain, so it must have been used, but I don't know who used it. And shower tubs, or tubs for laundry, and an old-fashioned wringer machine. Okay, and then you went upstairs. I don't know who used that downstairs. We didn't, but we did have clean clothes, and we did have clean sheets, and that was done. And then upstairs, there was one thing neat about the foster house. At least I thought it was neat. The bathroom, the bathroom for the family went between two doors, and it was in an angle, was a tub. And there was a window right next to the tub, and the window looked out on the balcony. Now, if that wasn't something, you always wondered who was out there. And it didn't have frosted glass or anything like that. And then the rest of the bathroom. Okay, on the other side, or the back side of that bathroom, there was a small hall and a bigger room, which was used as a servant's room. Nice thing about that was that it had a little corner sink, and it had very hot water, and the hot water, because it was a small area, would pour up steam, and it would make my hair curl. So I was very pleased, and I would hang my head over this. It was good for a cold if you needed congestion clearing, and so that was a room that was mostly empty, except if you have a guest, you could put somebody in there. Not put. Well, then, off the living room, there was a square hall, and off it went the bathroom door, the door to my parents' room, my room, and door to my room, and next to it was the door to Deary's room. Well, I've told you now where we slept, but holding the two bedrooms together, Deary's and myself, was a porch, an overhanging porch, and it was copper, I think. There was copper on the floor. And we looked out over the circle, which we call the circle, where going up to the big house. And it was so light that we had dark blinds that you could roll down, which they did at night because they didn't know. And the only way they knew was seeing our dirty feet, was that Derry had gone out of his room and I had gone out of my room, and we'd run up and down this porch laughing and doing things and peeking out the windows. Well, there wasn't much to see except that it was dark, and they wanted us to go to bed. It was probably 7 o'clock. I don't know. But that was fun. Mom and Dad had their big room, which was at the left, and they had a balcony between their room and my room. So this was, I knew there was a balcony, and it was a small balcony that was never used. But it was there. And then the big room that Derry and I fooled around on, ran around at night.
Was there a kitchen in that house?
Yes, very small kitchen. That's why I was wondering about the evening meals. The only thing I remember about the meals there is that I had to set the table. But I tried and tried to remember what the placemats were. I don't remember, but that was my job, to set the table. We didn't have a variety of dishes because there wasn't room for dishes. There was the fireplace that was very much the style of Frank Lloyd Wright's circle fireplace. There was a desk in there, there was a sofa that was big enough for me to lie down on, and I'm glad because I'm going to regress. But we went every summer, we went to a place where there was a farmer and a farmer's market, and the farmer had a barn, and we used to get little kittens.
Oh.
Every summer Derry got a kitten and I got a kitten. We could lie on the sofa and the kitty would crawl up and lie on our hair or next to us. And we kept those kitties all summer long. Bray Miller's is the name of the farmer store, and he still is. I mean, this is a good place for Hamburg, but we would have to drive to Hamburg to get there. And I can't remember who was driving. I don't know, it could have been my mother. I don't know, because I don't think we didn't have William, who was the chauffeur, after we had moved where he was. I don't know what happened to William. Yes, I do. He lived over Jewett Parkway, over the
Over the
barn.
stable, yes.
Over the stables.
The barns,
Okay.
yeah.
So maybe he just didn't come out very much. Ooh, then I just remember something that was frightening. Can anybody say, what do you remember that was bad when you were little? I remember going in the Pierce Arrow, and William was driving, and we went through Bethlehem Steel, but they were having a riot, and men came out of the factory, and they were all sort of banged up, and they took our car, which had the glass piece between the driver's seat and our little place in the back, and we had little half seats where Derry and I used to sit. But they shook the car. They took their hands and they shook the car. And I remember their faces so angry because, see, I don't know why there was this riot, but there were union problems and so on like that. But I remember being scared then. That was, of course, wasn't at the house, but you had to go through the Bethlehem Steel Lackawanna to get into Buffalo. I think that was the thing that reminded me of a horror. And I know years later when I went to a movie, my mother told us to leave, or we left the movie, and the movie had been something by Walt Disney or something decent. And I remember they started the next movie, and it was A Face and Hands at the Window was the name of the movie or something. But I remember being terribly frightened then, and it was because of my memory of what had happened in Lackawanna.